I learned more, aka N the Bellissimo, and you're tuned back into actually today a podcast episode from my podcast called Phases, the Unpopular Genre. I have recently changed my name. It used to be N the Bellissimo podcast. So if you hear any previously recorded podcast episodes on my whatever platform you may find them on, you may notice that might be my intro, but I wanted to target my audience a lot more to really grasp those in which I feel like my content is more for. So I felt like breaking it down and kind of putting it in a name, which is called Phases. The Unpopular Genre. I like that name because I feel like my content is not for the average person on social media. You know, I feel like it's a little bit more serious. It is definitely just one that likes to look at the realness of life and love conversations surrounding that. And I feel like just the more you see certain topics or just see more of my content, you'll kind of just already get the grasp of what I'm talking about. And if you're one of those people who, you know, is interested in such content, then boom, bada bing, there you go. I done got your attention some type of way. So I feel like I just want to give that slight little introduction. Phases, the Unpopular Genre is the name. Okay? I feel like this was like a topic I've been sitting on talking about for quite some time. Like I said, it was just a matter of really getting these episodes off the ground. But public humiliation is something that I feel like a lot of us experience, first of all. But I feel like it's also something that a lot of us don't even know how to navigate through because of just so much chaos that is involved with just being humiliated. There's so many different kinds of ways in which we'll talk about. That could be so many different things for you. One of the things I think about is disloyalty. You know, have somebody, you know, not having you aware of a certain situation, and they allow you to get put into it unexpectedly. I mean, disloyalty goes so far. You know, information that you might hear about a person, you don't tell them. It's kind of just like floating out there one way in front of them versus when you're not around them. That's, like I said, it goes so deep. And then when you think about somebody disclosing personal information, that's another, you know, form of disloyalty on top of public humiliation. Being cheated on, that's a very common one. Everybody handles it differently. A lot of people look at it like, oh, cheating is not really a form of disloyalty. Other people look at cheating as not deal breakers and stuff like that. So it kind of honestly depends on the person's morals and how they value certain things when it comes to relationships or not. Being lied on, another major form of public humiliation. Having your character questioned is definitely a major thing to get through. Like the worst of them all are rumors, because majority of the time you won't really know, like I was kind of talking about a little earlier, you won't really know what's being said unless either you find yourself around somebody who runs circles around the groups in which they're talking about you or wherever these rumors are supposedly running. Other than that, rumors go on and you really won't never really know about it. That's why I feel like that is the most crazy of them all, and I feel like rumors come with the greatest karma, you know, because people don't realize how much that damages a reputation, you know, as well as just somebody's character, period. So I feel like, you know, if you've ever been caught in something like that, you've experienced bad karma for sure. I feel like even when it comes to now being able to be on social media, it's such a instantly gratifying situation because, you know, when we feel like our character is being attacked or, you know, somebody's having a wrong impression about us, we want to defend ourselves. I know I was very much like that. Anytime, even if I felt like somebody misunderstood certain things, I would be kind of like on the defense of kind of like defending myself in a situation or circumstance, honestly off the strength of being publicly humiliated before. I feel like sometimes if you're not aware of it, it can kind of, I'll say, put you on guard in certain situations, to be very cautious about just how you're coming off, or what others' perception is of you when you've been previously like humiliated. So I kind of feel like social media can sometimes be a bit of a downfall when it comes to even dealing with situations like this, because we have the instant gratification of defending ourselves. You know, we might see it, especially with celebrities. Something may happen, now they going live, going in. I mean, it happens so much, so much. I know in my personal circumstances, or the situations that I've found myself in with being publicly humiliated, I wanted to be that YouTuber so bad, to get on my camera, you know, and upload and, you know, defend myself and do all these things. And one of the greatest things that I have to this day is the fact that I never did. And I feel like because I just never got involved with it, I feel like I gained so much, you know, not only just respect for myself, but even others. Because when you go through kind of like the worst of the worst, and you still end up evolving and kind of getting past it in the craziest ways, I feel like you always kind of get your reward for doing so. You know, everybody's situation is different when it comes to the severity of what they've dealt with. It gets real. It gets real. Because I know that it's very cringy, it's very hard to persevere through a situation like that. That's one of the main reasons that we were just talking about it, and try to get level-headed. You might even have experience that I didn't name, that could be a form of public humiliation that you can definitely drop down in whatever comment box of whatever platform you're finding this podcast on, because I feel like it needs to be more of a support system, you know, because I mean, granted, nowadays, like when people are older, becoming more wiser with certain things, and kind of just seeing certain things with this life, you kind of can sit back and already read certain individuals when you're getting information and how you're getting it and certain things like that. So as you get older, you'll see that. But a lot of times with people that's more immature, no matter the age, or whatever the case may be, you'll find you just kind of identify it a little bit more. So if you've ever found yourself in, like I said, any of those situations, or just an experience of public humiliation, I feel like a few things to keep in mind when you're feeling in that, I don't even know what to call it, but it's just like this crazy state. You feel like you're out of control. You feel like you want to do something, but you don't know what to do. A lot of times in these heated moments, very impulsive. Like I said, people will get on social media so quick just to defend their name, you know, and try to tell their side and all this other kind of stuff, whatever the situation may be for you. But before you do any of that, just take a step back and try to apply or reason with a few of these tips that I have for you, because I feel like they will work. I have used them, and I have been in some of the most worst of them all, baby. Worst of them all. We'll really have to get into it whenever the time is right. But I've been there. And I feel for you. You know what I'm saying? If you're going through it now, if you've been through it, I feel like that's something that doesn't heal, honestly, even over time sometimes. Like eventually you'll get to the point where you're just not really caring, but it does shape your mentality when it comes to dealing with people, trusting people, depending on how severe your situation was. When you're thinking about how you may be perceived to somebody, especially if you know or may have a insecurity that you may not be spoken about in the best ways around certain individuals, let me tell you, one thing to keep in mind is anybody who can take a situation, whatever situation that you may even be experiencing, for face value is somebody that is not for you. Meaning, if anybody can run around saying anything about you, and whoever is around to hear it can literally say, oh, I'm not going to deal with that person because they're like, oh yeah, that was what happened, any of that, and literally move off of it, that's nobody that you even want to even be around for real. Because That's not a decisive person. That's not a discerning person. That's not nobody you want in your corner whatsoever. You need people around you that's going to be solid. Like, even if, first of all, you want people around you that are so solid and ride or die for you that nobody's even going to really think twice about even talking to them about you. Or they may say something and they may have not known. They may have not known, like, oh, y'all was cool like that. It gets shut down instantly. That's the type of people that you need, because also sometimes people will just sit up there and say things about you. They don't even know you. They're just running their mouth, talking out the side of their neck about you, and they don't even know you. That's probably a very common way of how jealousy goes around these days. It's like almost like nowadays we're really living in modern day high school times, like across the border, especially even in an adult world. It's like everybody really acts like a teenager for the most part, unless you just get to a side of maturity. But it's always this cackling, this clicked up, it's like this person said this person gets jealous over this, the smallest things. They retaliate and almost just throw you way back. It's just, it's too much. And another thing is, you don't want nobody in your corner that's not really solid in who they are. And I say that because people that know who they are, where they're going, and all those kind of things, they are very cautious of who they even have around. So, you might have a group, of course, we all do our little gossiping or whatever we do in conversations with friends or whoever the case may be. But there's a difference between just talking about things going on versus like really invested in what is going on. It's like you're constantly, like every time you're talking to that person, it's always something negative about what somebody else got going on. Invested, like you always got something to say about somebody else that's not you, and what do you really have going on for yourself? That's not, like I said, that's not even people that you want to even have around you. How people speak about other people, about themselves, their outlook on life is going to have a great influence on what type of help or harm they're going to do to you or bring into your world. So that's definitely something to be mindful of. And kind of like the older you get, you'll filter through friends, family members, and things like that actually are like that. Unfortunately, we live in days and times where, not all the time the immature behavior is coming from the kids or even the teenagers. A lot of times it's coming from just immature adults. You may have found yourself in, situations where you had to cut certain family members off, distance yourself, because you do have some family members who are very gossipy, very negative, want to be all in your business just to run around and talk about it, but do nothing to uplift themselves, uplift you. That's nobody that you want to have around. Whereas that's family or foe, it's just not really a good spirit for you to even be in. And I'm making all these suggestions on just kind of determining who's for you and who's not, because a lot of times once you really get that group of support that's for you and have your solid group that is for you, you're not going to worry about, like I said, you'll be easily able to navigate through the negativity, because you're not worried about what this person is saying about that. Your solid team is there for you. Who you need is there for you. Anybody outside of that equation is going to kind of be like how you view the rest of the world. Non-existent. Because you only care about those who are on your team, who's of your support system, and not really worried about who else is influenced about any gossip or whatever negativity may be going on that you don't even know about. You're not even concerned with it at this time. So please, that's another thing. You got to learn how to emotionally disconnect from negativity, because honestly negativity has the strongest impact than anything else. For sure, more of an impact than positivity, for sure. But it has one of the strongest impacts, because you really have to train yourself to be more disciplined to avoid it. But yes, being able to easily filter through negativity, individuals who are not for you, keeping them away from you, loving them all from a distance if they're family, whatever the case may be for you, probably will be in your best bet. And like I said, it will be routine. So when certain things come up, it won't even bother you. And I'm not trying to be like that person to be like, oh, I done tried it all and I'm done worked on this and now I'm seeing the results. But no, literally, like I've sat on making this video honestly for almost 2 years. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to be able to really gear what I'm saying to help. You know, I could get on this camera, anybody could, and we've seen it. You know, people get on here being a mess, you know, or just sob story about what they got going on. But at the end of the day, what you got to really even realize when it comes to even going to social media with some of your problems, a lot of people do not care, bro. They do not care. Like, even when you think about the internet is an evolving circle. That's why even if you know people that like are really into clout or just trying to like really get up in the Instagram world or whatever the case may be, a lot of times people don't even think about how fast the internet changes. You know, even when it comes to situations where you might have been humiliated, it doesn't last forever, you know, because at some point it does pass on. But constantly it's changing. You know, nothing really even stays the same. So what I'm saying is how you respond, even when dealing with certain things involving this topic, is going to either make or break you even in the long run. Because sometimes people have responded so negatively to a situation that even a while after the situation has already passed, you still got that negativity attached to it, because instead of just choosing the best method that worked good for you, you ended up getting involved in a whole other stuff, you know. So you just really want to just be calm. You really want to take your time, and you really just want to take a breather, because you don't want to do anything that's really going to cause anything long term, you know. I'm trying to really not cuss. I think that's why I'm having all this, you know, hesitation. But you really want to act in the best way where you won't regret it, because what a lot of people will tell you that have sat back and had people say certain things, but you sat back and didn't make your YouTube channel yet, or you know, you didn't speak on certain situations and you just let it roll past, learn whatever lesson was in there for you, because that's a lot of times what the missing point happens. Even though we've, you know, went through a certain injustice, or, you know, been on the negative end of the stick before, so to speak, a lot of times though, you gain so much power by just chilling, sitting back, cutting off whatever you need to, and not really acting on that emotion in that moment. At the end of the day, no matter friend, foe, whoever, man, woman, child, people only want to do what you allow. You know what I'm saying? So the accountability is probably the biggest takeaway I could push off, because people never really think about how they still have to take accountability off of how they were treated. Simple as that. Oh, this was recording. That's just what I wanted to talk about generally. Some tips and suggestions around, you know, injustice. You know, when you're dealing with some things like that's just out of your control, speaking of your character, the same. It's so simple, but it's every day. You hear about it every day. You've had certain experiences yourself, known of others. I really hope that these suggestions and tips do help. That's probably really it for this episode. Like I said, we're just giving one area of focus to an episode. Unless we have a special guest, we can get deeper and kind of more conversational and hitting other topics, but that's kind of the gist. So I really hope that this video was helpful, because I definitely did a lot of talking, but I had notes, so I hope that it was some good things that was said to you or that you were able to benefit from. Please comment, like, share, whatever platform you find this video on. Please comment down below. Let's get into the conversation. Let's actually use social media for what it's supposed to be used for. Socializing, okay? Getting feedback, you know, other than all the other negative things that social media is used for sure. Without any further ado, I will see you in the next video.
I got my gotcha number 7 on right now.